Nicole Rucker, let me start with you. What is the latest on the president's condition? And what is, if I could ask, what is, if it's knowable, what is the source of the information? Are the doctors doing briefings for you guys?
There has not been one today, to my knowledge, although there was some indication from others in the White House that we would be hearing from the president's physician later in the day. So perhaps we'll get an update on his medical condition. The closest thing we have to any sort of update from the president is a video that he put out, another one of these sort of rambling videos from the South Lawn, or what appeared to be the South Lawn of the White House, where, he talked about being cured from the coronavirus, and he talked about the experimental drug cocktail that he received under care at Walter Reed, and how that should be distributed and shared with so many other people around the country. And he made a direct appeal to seniors because, of course, polling shows he is losing the vote of seniors to Joe Biden. And Trump announced in that video that he himself is a senior at 74 years old, and therefore he cares first and foremost about fellow seniors.
Nick Confessori, it strikes me that some of the problem the president finds himself in is his ambivalence about the risk that he presents to everyone else. Let me read you some of the reporting that our White House unit has. Aides are arguing, I guess, with the president to back down from his position of not wanting to participate in a virtual debate, saying that if Trump posts a rally instead, which is what he's threatening to do, he'll get somewhere in the range of 3 million viewers on Fox. But if he participates in a debate, more than 60 million viewers would be watching. It's always the case that when you are the one that needs a structural shift in the election, you don't have the option to opt out of something like a debate. What do you make of the politics of the game he's playing by saying, I'm not going to do this if it's on Zoom?
Look, I think the president should listen to his advisors because they are correct. The person who needs to change the game right now is Donald Trump. His campaign is in collapse. His best chance to do that is at a debate. And what I think this is really about, Nicole, is that the president believes that a core part of his strategy in a debate is actually the theater of the dominance and posturing. And you can see in his comments to Bartiromo there, he's afraid of not being able to interrupt Biden in the debate because it's central to what he's trying to do inside the debate to do that kind of dominance politics. And what his advisors are saying are, look, it doesn't matter. It's probably better for you to be on a virtual debate in case you're not feeling well and you'll have a larger audience. But he wants to be in the ring. You can feel it.
That's so interesting. Carol Lee, the other problem, it would seem, with putting Trump in the room with anybody would be really connected to your reporting today, that there is increasing evidence that we are getting disinformation, or at a minimum, in the best light, incomplete information. Talk about NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, that doctors at Walter Reed were asked to sign for that still unexplained emergency visit to Walter Reed last fall.
Sure, Nicole. Well, what we learned from 4 people who are familiar with this process is that when the president went to Walter Reed, everyone remembers it was a mysterious trip that, in fact, still remains somewhat mysterious to this day. It was November 2019. It was a Saturday. Walter Reed was not expecting the president, and he made a surprise visit there. He was there for a couple of hours. And what we learned is that the president required anyone who was going to be involved in his care, whether they were a physician or just worked at Walter Reed and might otherwise be privy to his medical treatment, that they needed to sign a non-disclosure agreement. And we know that at least 2 doctors at Walter Reed refused to sign this and were subsequently told that they could not be involved in the president's care at that time. And, the reason why this is significant is because we're now in this space that, first of all, that trip is still a question mark. The White House said that the president was going for the first half of his physical. That's not how physicals are done. When the president does do a physical, it's usually right after the beginning of the new year. It's something that Walter Reed is prepared for in advance. It's announced in advance. But now, fast forward to where we are almost a year later, and we're still not getting really good, clear answers from the president and his team, his doctors, about his health. And we've seen his doctor multiple times cite things like HIPAA. All of his statements say that he's presenting this information with the permission of the president. He's had conflicting information. He's held back on some information, specifically what the president's lung scans look like, for instance. And so it feeds this perception that the president really wants to hold whatever is going on with him and his health very, very close. And a non-disclosure agreement is highly unusual for a number of reasons. You know, obviously you have HIPAA, but you also have, most of these are active duty military officials. They have top secret security clearances. Anyone you would talk to would say this is really unnecessary. And so that also just gives a sense of how much the president really guards this sort of information.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.